Good morning, and welcome to One Baha'i, that semi-regular podcast. Is it called a podcast if it's video? I honestly don't actually know. I've been doing a blog for so long, and then I started doing a podcast, just audio, but a few people requested video, so I'm doing video now. Is it still called a podcast? Anyways, maybe you can let me know in the comments. I have no idea. Anyways, welcome. Hope you enjoy this. Today, let's see. Today, I've just spent about 40 minutes trying to record the Tablet of Ahmad. That was a lot more difficult than I thought it would be because I'm not a professional. I'm doing this as a hobby, doing it for free. And I'm not really certain how to work the audio well. So I would record a line and then I would play it back and I wouldn't like it. So I would record it again over and over until I found a system that I enjoyed, one that I liked the sound of. It still doesn't sound professional to my ear, but, hopefully it's useful. Now, you may wonder why I'm recording the Tablet of Ahmad. Well, the reason is I want to look at it today, and probably tomorrow, and maybe even the day after that. I don't know. My wife and I were lying down yesterday and just chatting, and she said, I want to say the Tablet of Ahmad again. And that got me thinking. Got me thinking about all the stuff that has been written on this tablet. Stuff that other people have written, stuff that I've written. So I recorded it this morning. You can find it, the previous video, on this YouTube channel. And I went downstairs and I grabbed this book, Learn Well This Tablet. It's a marvelous book. It gives all sorts of fascinating insights into the tablet. And one of the things that I love about it touches on a note that somebody sent me yesterday. The individual wanted to thank me for sharing my own personal thoughts on the writings. They said, we need people to share their personal thoughts so that we can see the great depth, the many interpretations of the writings, how many things you can read into it. And I really appreciated that. As you know, this is just my own personal thoughts. There's nothing official here. It's just One Baha'i. That's why I called it One Baha'i. So this book, Learn Well This Tablet, is one individual's thoughts on this tablet. And I noticed when I read it that I had read very different stuff into it. I mean, his stuff is great. I love it. I highly encourage this book. A lot of what he says I completely agree with. And it's not that I think he did anything wrong. I don't. I think he did great. But I think there's more. And this is the beauty of the writings. They truly are an ocean into which we can dive. And wherever you dive, you will find more and more gems. So he wrote a book that's, 300 pages. Ooh, not bad, 304. He wrote a book 300 pages long on a 4-page tablet of Baha'u'llah's. I could write another 300 pages. You could write another 300 pages, and we still will not have finished exploring this tablet. When I started writing my blog, onebaha'i.blogspot.ca, or .com, for some reason they both get to the same place, one of the first things I wrote about was the Tablet of Ahmad. And I learned something in my English classes in school. I'm very grateful to my teachers. One of them, Jack, kind of funny, in university we always called our teachers by their first name. Jack had this very firm conviction, which I've seen play out in schools over and over, that the first line of a great work foreshadows the entire piece. Now, we used Hamlet as our example, or he used Hamlet as our example. Who's there? That's the first line. It's said by one of the guards on the walls. And it foreshadows the question throughout the entire play. Who is there? Who is Hamlet? Who is the king? Who is the ghost? And the entire play revolves around that question, that exploration. So, when I read the Tablet of Ahmad, lo, those many years ago, one of the first things I looked at was the first line. It was a habit. It was a habit that I had developed in university. So I have here, there we go. I have here the tablet. It's what I just read a few minutes ago onto a video. Now, the first line is, "He is the king, the all-knowing, the wise." Maybe I'll look at that for a minute first. You see, I'm of the opinion, and you will read this in my blog over and over, and I'm sure I will say it over and over here, but hey, this is the first time, so it's kind of cool. I'm of the opinion that everything, every word, every thought, every comment in the writings is very deliberate, very purposeful. I don't believe that there is anything in the writings that is accidental. So, when Baha'u'llah introduces this tablet, he is the king, I don't think there is any other way he could have begun this piece. He is the king, the all-knowing, the wise. Why? Why those three attributes? Well, all right. If you know the story of the Tablet of Ahmad, Ahmad was this great teacher of the faith who was sent this tablet. He had been walking to visit Baha'u'llah, which was months to walk there. And he was only a couple days away, as far as I understand, when he received this tablet. Now, this is only part one. There's another bit after it, which, from what I understand, is a more personal letter. And the Shoghi Effendi only translated the first part of it. He said that this was the only part that was relevant to us. The rest was for Ahmad. And in the second part, from what I understand, Ahmad is told, turn around, your pilgrimage has been accepted, you are deemed having met me. That's what Baha'u'llah seems to have said. Go back to Iran and teach the faith. Now, he'd been walking for months to get a glimpse of the Blessed Beauty. He's a couple days away. He gets this letter. Baha'u'llah says, you have met me, turn around, go home. He turns around, he goes home. Wow, what dedication. I know I would have been heartbroken not to have been able to meet Baha'u'llah after all that journey. But not Ahmad. He's obedient. He turns around and he goes back home and he starts teaching up a storm. So why does Baha'u'llah begin, he is the king, the all-knowing, the wise? I'm of the opinion that what we read in the sacred writings is actually true. And in many sacred texts all around the world, we read that we are created in God's image. This is a common theme found in all religions. So, by the way, if you hear meowing, it's my cat down here. Hi, George. In all the writings, we're told we're created in God's image. Now, I don't believe that that means that God is 6 foot with gray curly hair. I mean, he might be. I don't know, but I don't think so. I think what it means is that if God is the all-knowing, we have a bit of knowledge. If God is the all-bountiful, we can show a little bit of bounty. Whatever God is in the capital, we are in the lowercase. So, when he says he is the king, excuse me, when he says he is the king, it means that we are noble. And not only are we noble, but those that we are teaching are noble. You are noble. Nobility is the lowercase version of the king. So if I want to go out and teach someone, I have to recognize my own nobility to be worthy of teaching, and I have to recognize your nobility to be worth teaching. But I also have to do it with knowledge and wisdom. He is the king, the all-knowing, the wise. To me, these are the attributes that I need to show, that we all need to show, if we want to fulfill the purpose of this tablet, which is to teach. Those are the virtues that we need to show forth. So I don't think it's an accident that Baha'u'llah begins with those three attributes. They are the attributes we need to develop in order to teach effectively. But I didn't actually want to talk about that. I love the way this happens, the way it just, you start reading the writings and things just flow, things just come out. What I really wanted to talk about was the next sentence. Because to me, the first one it's the introduction. It's sort of setting the stage. It's not really, for me, that first sentence. But I guess it is, because it's talking about teaching. Okay, the next sentence is the one that foreshadows the rest of the tablet to me. Lo, the nightingale of paradise singeth upon the twigs of the tree of eternity with holy and sweet melodies. He's saying who he is. He's letting us know he is the nightingale of paradise. But it's this next part, proclaiming to the sincere ones the glad tidings of the nearness of God, calling the believers in the divine unity to the court of the presence of the generous one, informing the severed ones of the message which hath been revealed by God, the King, the glorious, the peerless, guiding the lovers to the seat of sanctity and to this resplendent beauty. That's the part that intrigues me. You see, if I look at the 4 verbs, if we look at those 4 verbs, then we discover an interesting path. Proclaiming, calling, informing, guiding. What fascinating verbs. A proclamation is given over a long distance. You shout at somebody way far away. You proclaim to them, yo, over here. As they get closer, you call them. You call them down the street. Hey, here. When you're standing next to them, you inform them. But guidance is within. You see, Baha'u'llah is bringing us closer with each of these verbs. Proclaim, call, inform, guide. And when I look at these 4 verbs in the context of the whole tablet, it outlines the tablet for me. You see, you may remember the Tablet of Ahmad has Ahmad's name in it 3 times. So that effectively divides it into 4 sections. Ahmad, Ahmad, Ahmad. That first section is a proclamation. Lo, the nightingale. When you read that section, it's all about proclaiming over a great distance. The next section, it's a call. O Ahmad, bear thou witness that verily he is God. The one whom he hath sent forth by the name of Ali was the true one. Be obedient to the ordinances of God. These are things that you call somebody to do. The next section, O Ahmad, forget not my bounties while I am absent. Isn't that information? Remember my days during thy days? Section 3 of this tablet is all information for Ahmad and for us. Be as a flame of fire. If you're overtaken by affliction, don't worry about it. Rely upon God. The last section, learn well this tablet, O Ahmad. That's guidance. Chant it during your days. Don't withhold yourself from it. Chant it. Come on. Do it. God has ordained for the one who chants it the reward of 100 martyrs, a service in both worlds. Each of these verbs brings us closer. Each of these sections brings us closer to Baha'u'llah. It's amazing to me how this one sentence not only tells us who is delivering this message, but he continually brings us closer to himself with it. And it outlines the entire tablet. Another thing that we could look at are the reference nouns. He's proclaiming to the sincere ones. He's calling to the believers. He's informing the severed ones, and he's guiding the lovers. You see, it all begins with sincerity. He is calling, he is proclaiming to the sincere ones. So much of the writings begins with sincerity. If you're not sincere, nothing else matters. Once you are sincere in your search, and for more on that, you can also look at the Kitabi Akan. Once you are sincere in your search, then you can truly believe. Once you are a believer, then you can truly become severed from the world around you. And only when you are severed can you truly become a lover. And as you go through this entire tablet, it ends with, should one who is in affliction or grief read this tablet with absolute sincerity. You're back at sincerity again. You're right back at the beginning. It's a spiral. It takes us through the tablet, back to sincerity, and brings you right back to the beginning again, ready to investigate on a new level the depth and the beauty of this tablet. Well, you know, my son just got up, so I try to always finish these before he comes down for breakfast. So thank you very much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I think I'm going to try to look at the Tablet of Ahmad again tomorrow. I've had a few requests for other things, but I need to think about them. So please continue to offer your suggestions. I really appreciate them. I do read them. I do take them seriously. And I will try to address them as I can. For more information on the Baha'i Faith, please go to baha'i.org. And if you want to see the Tablet of Ahmad itself, there's a link in the, I don't even know what it's called, on the bottom of the YouTube page where I write a little bit about today's episode. I've got a link for the Tablet of Ahmad in there. So, thank you very much. Talk to you tomorrow.